What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. May 23rd, 1941. The Bound Bomber Joe Louis would defend his World Heavyweight Championship title for the 17th time against Buddy Baer. Now, Joe Louis weighed 202 pounds and Buddy Baer weighed 237 pounds. He was the younger brother of the former World Heavyweight Champion, Max Baer. Joe Louis would knock out Max Baer in 4 rounds, New York's Yankee Stadium in 1935. He would be a newlywed, as he married Marva Trava earlier that evening. 23,912 spectators had witnessed the 10-1 favorite in betting odds, Joe Louis, as they invest $105,183 in this match. It was a threat of rain, possible postponement, or delay that amped up the audience because they were eagerly anticipating a barn burner. Joe Louis was knocked through the ropes, as Jack Dempsey was in 1923, when he would face Louis Angel Firpo. Now let's take a look at this match in the Joe Louis Scrapbook, right here on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. Now, before we go through this scrapbook, there was a dilemma here. Joe Louis had dropped Buddy Baer. Many claimed it was after the bell. Buddy Baer was out on his feet, basically. He wasn't aware of how the punch was thrown, how it landed, at what time in the fight it landed. It was in the 6th round, the end of the 6th round. And the timekeeper, his name was Charlie Reynolds. He stated that Baer was counted out. And Arthur Donovan overruled that decision and was allowing Baer to come out for the 7th round. And when Buddy Baer refused to come out for the 7th round, then Buddy Baer was disqualified. And once Buddy Baer was disqualified, Joe Louis would now regain his heavyweight championship title. Well, he would retain it. And he would defend it 17 times. The problem began to build when Max Baer, Buddy Baer's older brother, who was on a radio broadcast ringside at the fight, made a statement stating that he would never be allowed to deliberately hit a man after the bell. Now, what this does is it causes controversy. So the picture you're looking at now in this Joe Louis scrapbook is Buddy Baer and his management team looking over the rule books with the commissioner of District of Columbia. And they're pointing out what the consequences should be when a man deliberately hits a man after the bell. Now, Joe Louis has always been a clean-cut fighter. Clearly, that was not intentional. But in order for Buddy Baer to be earned a second opportunity at Joe Louis's title, this is what they came up with. Buddy Baer has no idea what's happening at that table. He's going along with what they are telling him. And Joe Louis would wind up being mandated to fight Buddy Baer once again. And this time would be for the Navy Relief Fund. Ray Arcel claims foul. Once Baer was tagged right before the end of the 6th round. There was an article in the St. Petersburg Times sporting section, May 24th, 1941. In an article in the Reading Eagle newspaper, Sunday, May 25th, 1941. And many articles around the country that Joe Louis had deliberately tagged Buddy Baer and should be suspended for illegal tactics. Many in the arena had booed. And this was all an attempt for Buddy Baer to either become the heavyweight champion or to get a rematch. And in that second fight with Buddy Baer and Joe Louis, Buddy Baer hit the lottery. It would be for Joe Louis's World Heavyweight Championship title. And Buddy Baer would keep all of his earnings as Joe Louis was to lose 10% of his purse. That would go to James Braddock. And it would be divided amongst his management team, sanctioning fees, and a fine of Joe Louis deliberately hitting Buddy Baer after the bell. If ever a man jobbed in this game of boxing, was Joe Louis. He was hit from every which way but Sunday, between taxes, illegal calls, and never being allowed to choose opponents that he felt was well deserving of a title shot. Let's take a look. Some articles in the Joe Louis Scrapbook. Now, as we look at the scrapbook here, there's a lot to unpack in this fight. Here's Joe Louis looking down at Buddy Baer. If we go back up, we can see the referee pulling Joe Louis away. Manager Ansel Hoffman of Buddy Baer comes to the aid of his fighter. And here you can see Buddy Baer as he knocks Joe Louis through the ropes. And as I stated to you before, this happened in 1923 when Joe Louis was a young man. Jack Dempsey was knocked through the ropes by Louis Angel Firpo. Now let's go through some of the rounds. I actually want to show you round number 6. As you can see here, Joe Louis weighed 201 3/4 pounds. Some say 202 pounds. Baer weighed 237.5 pounds. That was for this fight, the Griffith Stadium, Washington, District of Columbia. I want to just go right to the 6th round. They give you a blow-by-blow description of what was going on. And it shows Joe Louis hitting Buddy Baer head and body. Baer gets off a shot himself. Baer took a hard right to the jaw and clenched. It was at close range. They stood straight and traded with both hands until Louis had held. Louis floored Baer with a right to the face. And Baer was up at the count of 7. Louis floored Baer with a left and a right to the head. Baer took the count of 9. As Baer rose, Louis smashed him to the canvas with a right to the jaw. Ansel Hoffman, Baer's manager, insisted that the bell had rung before Louis floored Buddy a second time. Once the bell had sounded for the 7th round, Hoffman refused to allow Baer to return. Referee Donovan disqualified Baer. Now, I'm going to try and get a highlight of that actual fight so we can see whether or not the argument was valid. But I'm just scamming through the scrapbook, New York Times, 1941. And there's various articles of all newspapers all over the country in this scrapbook. And most of the different sports writers have their own perspective of what they've seen and what they have heard. .35,000-seat bomber triumph on a foul. And a lot of this is slander because all the sports writers didn't actually see Joe Louis hit Buddy Baer after the bell. This all started when Max Baer, on a live radio broadcast, would claim that he would never be allowed in his time to deliberately hit a man after the bell. Arthur Donovan, who refereed tonight's clash, named Louis the winner on a foul in the 7th round. But before the bell sounded for the last official session of the scheduled 15 round encounter, 35,000 fans in the Boyard had been treated to see the spectacular or the spectacle of Joe Louis on the floor. And I tell you, I have problems seeing well without the glasses. I have to take off the glasses in order to read this to you. It's always a complicated situation here. So if I mispronounce or spell something, please excuse me. So let's move on. Now, once again, Garland Rice was a very good sports writer, and he covered a lot of Joe Louis's matches. So you'll see a lot of his articles in Joe Louis's scrapbooks. Jimmy Cannon was another very good sports writer. In fact, at one point, he almost became a personal sports writer for Joe Louis. He's the man in the locker room, And Joe Louis was about to go up the steps, at least out of the locker room. 1938 to take on Max Schmeling for the second time. How many rounds do you think it would go, Joe? Joe would lift up his thumb, indicating 1 round. Jimmy Cannon was a very good sports writer.
But Lewis, the 10-1 on favourite, is in control. Oh, and the right hand did it again. It's been the punch which has created problems throughout. And Baer down, the count at 6, at 7. He gets to his feet. Lewis now looks as though he needs just one more big shot to end this fight. 2 savage uppercuts. And Baer's going to go again, surely. He looks almost like a tree about to fall. Any moment, surely. He's going to go down, and he does. The corner think that the bell has gone, but Buddy Baer is down. and surely he's going to be out. Arthur Donovan takes a look. Oh, and the fight goes on again, but this time he's down once more. The corner men were in there. They thought the bell had gone to end the fight. And the referee says it's all over.
Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Joe Louis and Buddy Baer. 1941.
The bell, and the fight
You
is
decide.
not all over. The referee says it's going to go on, but the corner are saying no, it's not going to happen. The corner are arguing that there was an illegal blow from Joe Louis, and the fight looks as though it's all over. And if they've pulled him out, that means that there has to be a disqualification, and Lewis will still be the champion. There are furious protests going in there from the manager of Buddy Baer and Phil Hoffman, but confirmation now that Joe Louis is still champion of the world by disqualification. Lewis wins an unfortunate manner to the victory, but really it could only have been a matter of time.